Lost in the Warp, faction of the universe's finest warriors battle in a no-holds-bar, all-out brawl for glory, honor, and blood. It's DeadLocked Arena, baby!
The only place in the Warp where you can watch non-stop action.
I'm Craig Capital.
I'm Harry H. Hostel.
And I'm Chris Punishment. We're the official announcers for this match.
Welcome to the 5th match of this tournament, and the 2nd match of round 2.
Today we have the Warp Coven facing off against the Corsair Voidscarred on the DeadLocked zone.
The Corsair Voidscarred, led by Coach Ian, who kicked off the tournament with a win in the very first match. So they're holding pretty good stocks going into the next match.
Yeah, all he should have to do is play a straight, clean game and keep the opposition from getting too many points.
Unless something horrible happens.
The Warp Coven, led by Coach Jake, the boogeyman of DeadLocked Arena. This has to be the scariest team to compete against in this tournament, and in their last match they had a clean sweep of the Scouts.
They were cold-blooded and showed no remorse. If I was Coach Ian, I'd be shivering in me timbers.
Today's game mode in the Deadlock zone is Seize Ground. In order to gain points, you need to control 2 or more objectives on your side, have more objectives than your opponent, or take objectives from your opponent's side.
With the teams deployed and dice ready, let's go on to the roll-off.
Warp Coven win the initiative and decide they want to switch sides with the Elves.
That's some shuffling around.
Warp Coven use Exalted Astartes for free and also use Psychic Dominion.
Corsair Voidscarred go ahead and reveal their tack-up Soul Guard.
The leader sorcerer moves up the field and uses Warp Fire Portal to teleport the gunner up onto the building on Objective 1. Then cast Firestorm on the Wayseeker. He hits with a singular 4, and the Wayseeker is just barely able to save against it.
The Fellark moves on to Objective 4 and fires upon the Rubric Icon Bearer. He rolls 2 4s and a 5, but because all is dust, the Icon Bearer is rolling a 2-up save, and he's able to save all.
Due to coordinated strike, the Soul Weaver gets a turn 2. He moves up next to the Fellark on Objective 4 and takes it.
The Rubik Marine Gunner is making 2 attacks at the Wayseeker. The first attack hits with 2 3s and a 4. The Wayseeker saves 1 with the crit, but still takes 6 damage.
The second volley hits with 2 3s, a 4, and 2 5s. The Wayseeker doesn't even get a chance to save and keels over, dropping a Soul Stone.
The Corsair Gunner moves up and takes aim at the Icon Bearer. He rolls a 3 and a 5, but uses a command point to reroll one of those fails and gets another 3. The Icon Bearer is unable to save and takes 15 damage.
That was the first Warp Coven operative to be incapacitated this entire tournament.
A sorcerer advances forward and bolts the Corsair Gunner. He hits with a crit, automatically dealing 3 mortal wounds to the gunner. The gunner is unable to save, taking 3 more damage.
The Fate Dealer moves inside the building behind some cover and takes Objective 6.
You better keep an eye on that Fate Dealer. We've seen him do some real damage before.
A Rubric Marine moves forward and takes Objective 5 and then sets his sight on the Fellark. He rolls 2 4s and a crit. The Fellark can't take the heat, taking 10 damage. He's out of here.
The Kyrnite Hunter marches up the battle zone and fires at the sorcerer. He hits with a single 5. The sorcerer is somehow not able to block and takes 3 damage.
A Sorcerer changes position over Objective 1 and takes it for free using his Mutant Appendage. He follows up with a Temperate Discipline, then Flux Blasts the Corsair Gunner, attempting to finish the job. He hits with a 3 and a crit. The Gunner's saves were just horrible, and he is down for the count.
This is not looking good for the Corsair Voidscarred.
Corsair Warrior walks up to Objective 2, claiming it for their team.
The Rubric Marine overwatches at the Kier Knight Hunter. He rolls a 4 and a crit. The Hunter rolls 2 normal saves and chooses to combine them to block the critical, only taking 3 damage.
And we end the first turning point with the Duelist moving on to Objective 4 to pick up one of his comrades' Soul Stones.
It's like me whenever I go outside and find a pretty rock.
Skip it across the lake later.
Yeah, keep it in my pocket.
Coach Ian wins initiative. Coach Jake uses Exalted Astartes for free and spends a command point on Psychic Dominion.
The Shade Runner moves forward and launches a plasma grenade at both the Sorcerer and Gunner. He gets 2 4s, but the Sorcerer manages to block 1, meaning only 3 damage goes through. Next, he gets 2 3s and a critical against the Gunner. He blocks all but 1, taking 3 damage.
The Gunner is taking aim at the Hunter. He manages 2 hits and 2 crits, putting the Hunter in a rough situation. He can only save against half the damage, putting him down for good.
The Gunner now decides to fire both the Duelist and Soul Weaver, distributing the shots evenly. The barrage of bullets was too much for the Soul Weaver, but luckily the Duelist somehow got out of there unscathed.
The famous Fate Dealer fires at one of the Rubric Marines. He deals 3 mortal wounds off the rip. Luckily for the Marine, he shakes off most of the potential damage, only taking the crit for 3 more damage.
Man, Marines can really take a beating.
True, but as the Fate Dealer has shown us in the past, it can make short work of almost any opponent.
Flux Bass!
The Sorcerer heals the Gunner for 5 points before Flux Blasting the Shade Runner. He gets 3 hits and a crit, but due to rending, one of those normal hits are going to do some critical damage. The Elf manages 2 critical saves and attempts to command point reroll a 3rd save and ultimately fails, taking 6 damage.
The Warrior pushes up to Objective 1, grabbing an ally Soulstone on the way. Rubric Marines move and take Objective 5. He then proceeds to fire at the Duelist. He gets a hit and a crit. Due to cover, the Duelist retains 1 normal hit and must make the others. He makes another normal save and uses both normal saves to block the crit and takes the regular 3 damage.
The much targeted Duelist starts his turn by grabbing a Soul Stone. He uses his last APL for Pistol Barrage. Starting with the Fusion Pistol, he gets 3 hits and a crit, dealing 3 mortal wounds. The Marine just couldn't muster a good enough save, meaning 18 damage goes through.
This might be the comeback for the Corsair!
The leader of the Warp Coven moves up and fires his Warp Flame pistol at the duelist. He gets 3 hits, but the duelist gets 2 crits and a save, meaning he'll only take 2 points of damage.
The sorcerer uses his second firing action to open fire on the most shot at elf of the game, the duelist. He gets a hit and a crit. The duelist gets 2 saves and combines them for the crit, meaning he only takes 2 points of damage again.
He's fighting for his life this game.
The duelist is overwatching the sorcerer with his fusion pistol. He gets 2 hits and a crit. The sorcerer leader rolls a single crit save but takes 10 damage from the 2 hits and 3 mortal wounds, putting him down in one massive gunfight.
Another sorcerer runs in and opens fire on the exhausted duelist. He gets a single 5, but with that lethal 5 and mortal wound 2, it's all over for the Cowboy Corsair.
Rest easy knowing you were easily the MVP of this turning point.
Ian wins initiative.
Again.
Jake uses Exalted Astartes for free.
Again.
Jake uses Psychic Dominion.
Again.
Fate Dealer uses his free dash to get the Soul Stone. Then he fires at the sorcerer. He rolls 2 3s, a 4, and a 5. Sorcerer saves none, taking 12 damage, barely holding on with 1 health.
The hurt sorcerer moves up to Objective 4 and reveals his tack up, Sorceress Ritual, performing the ritual on Objective 4.
The Shade Runner ambushes the sorcerer and Rubik Marine, deciding to use Slicing Attack on the sorcerer. He gets 1 lethal 5, dealing 5 immediate damage to the sorcerer. He isn't finished yet, though. He whips out the Shuriken pistol. He gets 3 hits. He attempts another command point reroll, but he misses again. However, the sorcerer only manages 2 saves, finishing him off for good.
He truly is our Fade Runner.
It's so stupid. I love it.
We're keeping it, right?
Yeah, we're keeping it.
That's it. We're keeping that one in. The gunner enacts vengeance by firing off on the Shade Runner. Two hits and 3 crits, absolutely destroying our Fade Runner.
But while the gunner was preoccupied with an already activated elf, the warrior legs it up the marine and whacks him with the power sword. He gets 2 lethal 5s and a crit. The gunner gets a 4 and a 5. The elf sends through 6. The marine sends through 3. And the warrior sends through another 6, slaying the walking earth.
That's a whopping 12 damage.
That's a lot.
Ending Turning Point 3.
Corsair Voidscarred win initiative again, and the Warp Coven use Exalted Astartes for free again.
The Corsair Warriors use his free dash to move forward and collect a Soul Stone. He then takes Objective 1.
The lone wounded sorcerer doombolts the warrior. He rolls 2 lethal 5s and a crit, doing a crippling 6 mortal wounds off the bat. The warrior doesn't even get the chance to save before being removed from play.
With everything he had left, he charges at the only remaining Corsair. The sorcerer rolls a 3 and a lethal 5, then command re-rolls to try and get another hit and gets a 4. The Fate Dealer rolls a 3, a 4, and a 5, and the sorcerer sends through a devastating 6 damage. But the Fate Dealer retaliates with 2 damage from his fist, and it was enough to bring the big guy down.
The Warp Coven have officially been tabled.
After adding in the victory points for the Corsair's TAC-Op Soul Guard, the score is 7-7, our first tied game.
Thank you for watching and supporting us. If you liked what you saw, then be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to join us next time in the DeadLocked Arena.